Hello, Libra, and thank you for joining me here at my Body and Heart Tower Therapy. Happy birthday! We're entering Libra season, and I hope all the Libras are out there are going to have an amazing birthday and a beautiful month of October. All right, Libra, so I'm here to do the reading for the month of October for Libra, Sun, Moon, Rising signs. This is a general reading. If it resonates, it resonates, and if it doesn't, then it's just not your reading. Do not try to fit it in. Use your own intuition to see what messages apply to you and in what way regarding to your personal story. All right, so let's see what we have for Libra, Sun, Moon, Rising signs, the month of October 2019. Feel through it a little bit. Libra. I have this new moon in Libra. I'm sure that it's going to be a really a good opportunity for you to really feel for your energy and make use of this energy. I've made a video about this new moon in Libra. Please check it out if it makes sense to you. Also, you can check the videos that I'm putting for your other signs. Like, say if the sun is is in Libra, then you can check out the videos for what's your sun, or what's your rising, and what's your moon. All right, so let's see what is the current energy for Libra. A 10 of Wands. Okay, this is what's challenging for you right now. What's your focus? Okay, Queen of Pentacles. So 6 of Cups is your challenge. The Queen of Pentacles is your focus. The Hangman is your advice. And where this is going is the King of Wands. Bottom of the deck, we have the 7 of Wands as your underlying energy. All right, Libra. The 7 of Wands is underlying energy. It's telling me that you're facing that moment in your life again where you gotta stand up for yourself. And, because, you know, the 7 of Wands comes right after the 6 of Wands, where a person's got recognition, a person's got... it's been through the fight of the competition of the 5 of Wands, it won, and it's a victory card, the 6. And then 7 is like when people are trying to challenge you in a sense of taking your position. This might be really at work, like somebody who's being jealous of you or was literally coming for your position, but it can be a little bit different. It can be a much deeper and more personal level. Say, for example, that you've recognized some things about yourself, and you finally give them space to have embodiment and a voice. For example, let's say that when we do shadow work, we first need to be aware and accept the shadow, and we can also find amazing things in the shadow that go along with the traits that we don't like, for example, creativity or ability to be amazing negotiators or peacemakers or whatever, like things that we haven't realized, but they were hidden in the shadow and we were like not giving them the credit. And maybe you started giving credit to certain aspects of yourself on your own inner world, in your own inner story. And now there are other parts of yourself that maybe come out and are looking for the same position of recognition. Okay, I don't know how it went so internal, but that's what it felt like. This is where the card took me this one time. It's not how I usually read this card, but yeah, maybe a reason for that. Anyhow, The Seven of Wands says that you need to stand your ground. Like, for example, if you finally reach that place of self-compassion to certain aspects of yourself, to your inner child, maybe, do not allow the voice of fear or the voice of doubt to take that space, that take that inner space. Allow yourself to really stay grounded and connected to your loving awareness, to being present. And when you see the doubt and when you see the fear coming through, you can always recognize them, see them, but don't give them too much space. Don't allow them to control you. Wow, that went a way I didn't expect it. And we have the Ten of Wands as your current energy, which is pretty much a feeling of overwhelm, right? I'm going to clarify these cards. Feeling of overwhelm, yeah, but it's in a sense good, because unless we feel this, we're gonna reach that point where we're gonna actually drop all these ones we've been carrying that maybe aren't ours to carry. Let's clarify these cards first. So is this 10 of Wands here? The current energy. What do you feel overwhelmed about? Which aspect? This can always go so to people around you, like feeling the need to stand up for yourself when people around you really are challenging you, challenging your belief system. The ones are a lot about beliefs. The ones are a lot about what is it that it's about your spirituality. If you have any of that, well, being here, you obviously practice or are connected to some form of spirituality. But yeah, I mean, like, what you keep at the core of your being, your value system might feel like you're challenged in that sense. And though it is important to notice what gets triggered when we're being challenged from the outside, because that's really where our inner work is, you don't necessarily need to respond to that. I mean, like, yeah, stand up for yourself, but hold your ground. And it's not about fighting. Like, see, all these ones here have these leaves growing. It may look like they're actually attacking this person, but this is something that happens for growth. And all sevens are like a spiritual challenge that is coming into your life in order for you to grow. This once you go through this, whatever it is, whether it's like this internal dynamics or external dynamics or both of them, usually both of them, there's real growth happening afterwards or through the process of this. Wherever, however you come out of it, if you just repeat another pattern, well, at least observe that you repeated another pattern. If your habitual self came out, that I don't know, when you're being challenged, say maybe you become aggressive, or maybe you become withdrawn. If that happens again, at least observe it, see it for what it is, and that's it. It's a defense mechanism. Don't have too high expectations of yourself. And I'm saying this because of this 10 of Wands here. Maybe you have too high expectations that you're supposed to react in a certain way to whatever challenges you right now. What's this overwhelm about? Okay, so Son of Stones in the West. I call it Prince of Stones. And that's pretty much the page of... no, it's the Knight of Pentacles. Sorry about that. The Two of Swords with the Six of Cups, which means peace. All right. The Three of Swords with the Queen of Pentacles as your focus. All right. The Ace of Swords with the Hanged Man as your advice. Beautiful. And Aeon, which means justice, as your future energy. along with the King of Wands. And bottom of the deck, and here we go back to the Seven of Wands. We have the Ace of Cups. Well, will you look at that? I mean, you're protecting the very most core of your being. You know, it's the Ace of Cups. It's that opening of the heart. Is that very precious thing within. But you know when we get in protective mode, we protect it so much that we forget about it as well sometimes. You know, many times we just get in defensive and we forget what we're even there to protect. We lose contact with ourselves. So beware of this while you are in this space of putting your boundaries and holding on to your ground. Remember what this is all for. It's still about the greater inner love. It's all about understanding the whole what's really, how does this really work, you know? What is it that you're here to feel and protect? You probably felt this Ace of Cups. You really felt your heart opening. You really felt connected with all beings, that we're not these separate beings, that we're neither islands and we're neither, I don't know, separate in any way. We're actually part of this whole thing called the world or the universe or our planet, you know. We don't just exist separately of our planet. We are part of it, and that's it. And we are connected, all of us. So once we realize this truth deeply, deeply to our, you know, self and in our gut and in our the depth of our psyche, and the mind stops fighting against this truth, is when we actually feel unconditional love. Whereas when we really feel connected with all beings on this planet as part of an entire, you know, organism. But it is important still to understand that we are this entity that is, you know, we are one, but I am still this separate entity than you are. We are interdependent. That's the thing. We are interdependent. I'm still here to figure out what is my truth, what is my purpose in life, if you even believe in that this is necessary. How do I honor myself, and how do I honor humanity based on my own personal gifts and so on. So I still need to realize that I am unique before I am able to be out into the world. This is what this challenge is about. But don't forget, this is because you need this for love, from love. You know, I mean, you are here to protect your inner child. You are here to protect that soft space, but not to the place that you forget what this is all about. There can't be real hatred or real separation from the other that you are putting these boundaries against. The boundaries are just to define your own unique entity, your own space, but as part of a whole. I hope that makes sense to you. It goes in pretty deep directions here, guys, and it feels like it's going to be quite a long reading. Okay, in this deck, like the core cards can be quite different and have a little bit of a different flavor. In this deck, what was this? The Knight of Pentacles. Yes, the Knight of Pentacles represents Native American. I don't know if it's exactly a deity, but it's more of like the. I'm gonna read it to you actually because I have the short description. It's very short. Okay, here we are. Son of Stones. Chief Seattle was one of the last leaders of a nation of Native Americans on the northwest coast of North America. His hair, I'll show it to you. His hair blends into the rock. The eagle feather, a symbol of the plains people, indicates that he spoke for all natives. The lightning bolt from the whale above shows the bond between human and animal. As a divinatory meaning means taking action to make positive change with the benefit of the next 7 generations in mind. So you can see how it differs quite a lot from the traditional interpretation of the Knight of Pentacles. But it is important to know, like again, it talks about 7 generations, and we have the seven here. It seems to be like quite a theme for you to. You can actually look back at your past generations and what you got from them, and no, like don't. It's important how you're taking this, because if you take like, oh my God, my actions are going to affect my next seven of kin, if there's gonna even be such a thing, given the state of the world right now, then you come from this place of the Ten of Pentacles, Ten of Wands, and you feel overwhelmed. You feel like, how can I take so much responsibility? If we have a biggest fear in the world before, like after fear of death and fear of, I don't know, fear of, there's one that I just read recently. I think it was from Tara Brach, that she was saying that it's fear of like public shaming or something like that. That's even bigger than the fear of death, apparently, statistically speaking. But the other fear is the fear of responsibility. Even when we want to take on more responsibility, there's still fear of a huge fear of failure there. And what is important to look at, though, is that, okay, so I've been taking and I've been keeping in every pore of my body, in every cell of my body, these traits that I'm from my past generations, from, I know, the beginning of my kin, whatever. But this is how we evolve. This is how we as organic beings function, right? We have this information in our DNA, and each and every generation adds more information to it. And we, through our lives, add information through our experiences, the way what we hold on into our bodies, the things that traumatize us. Trauma is going from generation to generation, and you can take that like at a genetic level, but you can like what kind of diseases are being transmitted, or certain traits that, I don't know, maybe some people tend to be more irritable, but it's also coming from, or I don't know, have certain predispositions to certain disorders if not nurtured or cared for. But it happens also in the way we raise our children. What I learned from home, what I learned from my early childhood, if I don't work through it, I'm just going to pass that on with little difference. If I've been abused, I will abuse my child. If my parents had been alcoholics, there's a big chance I will become an alcoholic myself and abuse my life and my body and the self in the same ways. But if we do our inner work, if we're becoming aware, if we're changing some of that information on what we pass to our next generation. And it may be that this happens through literally your children, but also it can be through your soul. What is it that you're passing to your soul? So it feels like quite a big thing. It's also coming with the 10 of wands, which is an end of a cycle. So just make sure that you don't fall into that place of fear, but you come from always from this place of love. You've had the awareness, you understand the connection, you understand that we as humans don't function separately, right? So you don't need you as a unit to carry all this in your back. You can feel and connect, like this guy was speaking for all his tribes, in a sense, the feeling of unity and connectedness, and connecting with the past and with the future, because we are still that's a tough one to explain. that time and how we perceive time, and how actually time is not as linear as we think it is. But I'm not going to go into that right now because it's just way too complicated, and there's not, I don't think we have time for it. But it is important to understand that you're connected with both your past and your future in a much more direct way than our mind believes. And I am in the present. It's actually, I'm in an eternal now. If the time it is not as we think it is, we are in this eternal now. Everything else I influence and influences me, in a sense. So connect with your ancestor and understand some of your conditioning, and understand what it is within your power to change, knowing that you're not changing that only for yourself, but for all your next generations and your past generations, really. You're letting go of some serious um, family karma, let's put it this way. And talking about karma, we're getting there. Oh gosh, this is going to be a really long reading. I'm sorry, guys. How I don't understand how we went there, but it happened. Okay, the Six of Cups with the Two of Swords as your challenge. So yes, it does have to do with what's coming from your past. The Six of Cups talks about meeting ourselves and meeting our inner child, really going back to places and moments in the past where that left a huge impression on us, and this happens at an emotional level, and make peace with that. We got to make peace with our past in order to be able to be in the present moment. We get trapped in this cells of like loops of trauma that play over and over and over again in our heads, and don't allow us to really be in the present moment. So if you connect to this deep understanding, but it's not just something that you need to know intellectually. This is why this is like stones, it's physical. It's something that you need to feel into your body. Go deeply into your body, check out what your beliefs are, drop the things that are feeling heavy and that are really not yours to carry, and or that not relevant anymore. The traits that we've been building up in our lives, like the defense mechanism, the survival skills, all that had been there to protect us. And then we've been also carrying our past generations traits, that maybe some of this conditioning was for built up in moments where your family back in the past was struggling with war, or with famine, or with all other stuff, or I know immigration, mass immigration. Who knows where you're from and what's your family history. But what is important is to understand that that conditioning was serving that time, but it may not be serving you now, not in this very moment. And if we carry this defense mechanism as automatic responses, then we are not really present. We're not aware. We function from delegates, not from the source of our soul. And there's no growth happening. We're just trapped in a loop. Make peace with your past. Go in there. It can be also past lives, but I think it most related to your childhood right now. Like you gotta process that inner child pain. You gotta stay with your inner child in order to release some of the fear and sadness that the inner child is carrying. We all have that inner child. Funny, I was just reading an article this morning about the inner child from a beautiful Buddhist, what's it called? A Buddhist publication called Lion Roar. And it was an intensive talk from Thich Nhat Hanh, a teacher from Vietnam. But I think he's the one that has the Plum Village. He's probably in Canada now. I'm not really sure. Don't take that for granted. Anyhow, he wrote a really, really deep article about the inner child work that is so important for all of us, and that does not apply just to this person or this person that I see that they are in pain, or I don't know, suffering from deep stuff. We have it ourselves, no matter how much work we think we've done. There's still more, and the inner child is carrying a lot of pain that we need to release, feel through, and make peace with. Otherwise, that part of conditioner is just going to come to us, and we're going to function from the same place of fear-based behaviors, automatic responses. Okay, the Queen of Pentacles with the Three of Swords, which in this deck is considered, it's called Mourning, and I like that it's called Mourning. I used to, like in the Weight deck, I think of mourning as the Five of Cups, really. That's the mourning card for me in my interpretation and my understanding of the cards, the suits, and the. But this is a free, and so it actually applies to the mind realm, and it's swords, so it also applies to the mind realm, both from numerology but also from the suit itself. So I think it's more about the awareness of mourning. And this is your focus right now. Look at this Queen of Pentacles. She's looking at this pentacle as if being her lovely child, you know. She's very gentle and very caring, and she creates space, and she understands the value of things, and the value of holding space, of nurturing, of being grounded and connected. It's that feminine nurturing energy. And the Three of Swords talks about awareness of places of pain, awareness of the, sometimes we create through our mind the same conditions that we had in the childhood. Okay, maybe our thoughts develop in different ways. For example, we can't trace them back to the same thing that, okay, um, mama says I'm grounded, so I don't deserve stuff, so therefore here I am going through life thinking actively that I don't deserve stuff. Not necessarily. This can adapt, and we may not even be able to trace it down to where it comes, but we can trace it down to a limiting belief that had happened, we somehow internalize at a very early age. Why? So look at what you're mourning, look at what you lost, look at actually what you're sad about, what do you feel as loss, and acknowledge it first, and then realize also what is it that your mind is telling you about yourself in that situation. Okay, so I lost my job, that means that I'm a loser, or I lost my job, I lost my job, it is what it is, I'm going to look for another one. I could take this as an opportunity for some well needed change. That could be another way to look at it, for example, but it is important to see the habitual things that the mind does and acknowledge that first. It's not necessarily to tell yourself what to feel or what you think, but observe what it is. And the wisdom comes from observing, not from trying to actively change it. Bring it into acceptance. That's the focus. Focus on the stories that your mind telling you about you, according to your childhood and according to your limiting beliefs, according to the situations in your life. If in this case, whatever you feel that you lost, maybe it's loss of innocence. What does that even mean? The Hanged Man with the Ace of Swords as your advice. So yeah, the Hanged Man talks about a period of pause, a period of like really staying still, and it's a long wait, and it talks also about some type of self-sacrifice. But this self-sacrifice does not necessarily mean that I'm a martyr, not from that point of view. It's more like I'm sacrificing maybe all this time and the things I would have done when I wasn't hanging from a tree for I don't know how long. This is Odin hanging from the tree to wait for enlightenment, to seek enlightenment. This hanged man, he gets enlightenment from this weight and from this change of perspective. He feels like people could look at him as like a victim. Oh my god, this person is hung from a tree, but this is a voluntary action. So that's why in that sense of self-sacrifice, I'm sacrificing something that I usually like, maybe spending time with friends every weekend and going for parties or whatever. This is just a stupid example, but it's important to understand a little bit. But I'm just sacrificing that type of fun or that type of way of spending my time in favor for I don't know, maybe more meditative weekends or time. It's not, doesn't need to be forever, but it's just enough for you to gain that insight, that deep sharpened insight. And it seems that if you take some time for yourself, if you try to change your perspective, if you allow some type of change from the habitual responses or your habitual, if you are the person of routine, it can just changing a little bit of that routine and take some inner space might will really really help you get a lot of clear mindedness. It will really help you clear your mind, change of perspective. And this is taking you, my dear Libra, to this beautiful place of full awareness of your power, full awareness of the way you use your energy. This is fire, this is masculine, this is the way you put your energy out into the world, but from a place of full confidence. The King of Wands is very confident, a groundedness, like the salamanders here, uh, full responsibility of your own feelings and actions. And this is bringing in a type of a rebirth. It's that moment of full awareness of what is this all about. We have those rare moments of it feels like awakening, when we look at our life in a whole as a whole, and it all suddenly makes sense. Why did I have to go through that? Okay, it took me there, and it brought me this understanding, and I had to repeat that a few times because I had to go these many deep layers. Each and every time this particular pattern had repeated itself, I actually went one layer deeper, but it was that thick, so it needed that many times to repeat itself. Oh, and this one time I got distracted by this and I could not like that. Okay, and you have also the moment of clarity of the mind from the Ace of Swords and from this Hanged Man period, where you can actually um you know what you need to do in the next cycle that's coming. This is also an end of a cycle, right? You know what's coming. It's actually the world comes after that, but that's like part of graduation, where you're like, okay, um mission accomplished, let's go to the next one. But this is what brings in that world card of graduation. You know exactly what needs to be done. Is that moment of full awareness where, okay, yeah, I've been repeating this pattern a few times and not being attracted to unavailable people. Okay, I got to the point, I got really to the bottom of that, from due to the many cycles. Now I understand layer by layer why it had to happen this way, what I've learned from it, and I know what to do in this cycle so I don't end up doing the same shit again, so that this cycle ends. Does it make sense to you? Because you have that awareness that comes with the hangman. You have that moment of awakening and enlightenment. It's not necessarily enlightenment as in like the Buddha. It's more of like a small awakening where more of the inner dots in your brain connect, and you start, to feel like we start from a point of duality, and we feel it can be with another person or different aspects of ourselves, and each and every pattern, every time we go through a cycle of events related to very deep and personal stuff, we go a little bit closer and closer and closer until these opposites actually connect. And that's when we get from point of contrast to a point of connection and union. And you understand the duality of things. You understand it's an inner duality having to do with two different aspects of yourself. But that's when you literally connected to neurons that weren't used to fire together. And that's amazing. Congratulations. But the point is that this is why it comes from a place of full confidence. It comes from a place of full awareness. It comes from a place of, you know, what action is necessary in order to move on from this cycle and enable the end of this cycle without fear, without judgment, and without longing. You won't be longing for that same thing that you've been longing before, that used to maybe bring you a lot of trouble or suffering of some kind. Making peace with your past. This is a really beautiful reading, Libra. It may not sound very fascinating what you gotta do, but look at where it brings you. You know, yes, it's not fun to look in our past all the time. We're like, okay, once again, here I go again. There's some of us maybe that are not so preoccupied with that inner healing that much. If you've been doing this forever and it feels like it doesn't take you anywhere, or like revisiting the past, trying to make peace with it, and you feel like it doesn't work. This inner child work that I'm doing, like it just takes me to darker places rather than helps me. Well, know that it's the end of it. It's the end of the cycle. Provided that you are aware of what's happening, don't freak out, stay grounded, can see things for what they are, have a longer time for yourself and with your inner self, create space for yourself and allow your heart to open and for you to feel this change of perspective that brings you the insight to be ready for that final change that needs to happen in order for you to not repeat the same cycle again. This is beautiful. This is really, really, really great. Okay, I'm just going to put out a very quick spirit message from the Rumi Oracle card. And it says the courage of your love. Well, there we are. That's exactly it. The courage of your love. See, having the courage to stand up for yourself, but not from that place of I'm being a victim here, but from that place that I'm just creating space for my love. I'm just creating space for my building and create a container around my being to understand how do I and have that inner space, you know, to be able to process things rather than function automatically on automatic responses. This is the courage of your love. You understand that this comes from the place of love and connectedness. It's not coming as a place of separation anymore. This boundary putting is not to separate you from the rest of the world. It's from allowing you to love the rest of the world. Really. Deeper. I'm going to read just a little bit. See what's the guidance that's coming with this card. And the Rumi poem that comes with it is a 38. This reading got really long. Okay, 38. The courage of your love. Love is without reason. Rationality is like a cane. Judgment needs a cane because it is blind. Sorry. When your love arrives, thought dies in its shadow. Love is the sunrise while thought is only a flashing light. That's so on point, my darlings. So yeah, love is without reason. Rationality is like a cane, like your mind keeps you trapped. If you're trapped in this Three of Swords, thinking that I lost this, I'm so sad, I'm heartbroken, whatever, that's blinded. You need to bring awareness to this through being grounded. When love arrives, thought dies in its shadow. And that's happening here. That's why you go from Three of Swords to the Ace of Swords, because you get awareness. Love is the sunrise, while thought is only a flashing light. Okay. This oh, talking about challenges, yeah. So this oracle comes with a message for you. You have a challenge before you, or that you are now moving through, but you have what is necessary to succeed and overcome it. No matter how long it has endured, or how big you have built that challenge up to be in your mind, no matter how unsolvable the issue appears to be, there is and shall be a victory beyond it, and it is imminent. This oracle has come to you to let you know you are empowered to succeed. You have what is required within to do it, and that the time of your victory is drawing near. Hell yeah. So do not give up. You can't. Well, I mean, like it is the end of it. Don't give up on yourself. Let the damn ones fall. Instead, do the sacred honoring ritual is needed. Um, and when you feel so inclined, open your mouth and roar love from the very depths of your being. Create a sound of truth for yourself. In that sound, you will hear the mightiest of one of all roaring along with you, saying, "Yes, love, I am with you," and together we claim divine victory. So we roar how we roar. Okay, so inner child, that's it. Can connect to that inner child and let that inner child know that you are safe and that you are connected and you are here and you are aware and you are connected to your heart, and allow your heart to really lead this show. Okay, darlings, I hope this makes sense to you. Again, happy birthday, Libra. And for those of you that have the sun in Libra, and I hope this resonates with you. If it does, please like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you here soon.